So, we've met Ririka in the last episode, and it seems like she's probably going to be the complications in this episode's title. I don't know, I'm just guessing. If you like the video, like the video. If you dislike it, dislike it. I do have early access on YouTube memberships, and the full length is up on Patreon. But other than that, let us get started. Look at her just typing with one hand. Ooh, for the... I was gonna say the fucking aquarium, but no, the first thing I think about, no, it's the zoo. Maybe it was two girls going out with each other. It could have been an aquarium. A pro? Stylist? Oh no, Shima! Shima-ske! Yeah, I talk about him all the time. And now just going to a zoo? With my Mitsu. Immediately having bad thoughts. She really looks like a... Maybe I should let her go like that. Damn! Savagery. So we did kind of have, like, I think it was episode 2 or 3 when, I think it was episode 3 when Mitsumi was about to go out, right? And then Nao-chan helped her out with the clothing. And then Mika saw her and it was just like, wow, why is that bag so expensive? Right? And it was like a very expensive bag belonging to Nao-chan. And then we kind of see her apartment. And then you kind of see, like, when Mitsumi first came, right? She kind of splurged on dinner. So I was thinking in my head during that time that, oh yeah, she's she's well off. Or at least we now know what her job is. She's a stylist. Oh my god, it's Ririka. Grew up together. Sure. Oh, she's gonna find out about his acting career? Child acting, there you go. Damn. Damn! Oh, because he hangs out with supermodels? Glamorous people. But if you can get in with him, you could also be with glamorous people, huh? A cloud chaser? The fuck? Yeah, whatever. We've got a sleepover that we've got to do. Oh, the zoo. Okay. Anyways, the sleepover, right? God, that hat looks like a mushroom. I brought her with me. His outfit, because, yeah. I was thinking, I'm just like, man's not even... Okay, Mika. You just gotta follow them? Is this now? Hold up, he's hot! No! Mitsumi's uncle? Didn't know she had an aunt and an uncle. That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, yo, that panda was living a life, dude. He was going to town on that bamboo, I know! Look at him! Y'all paid a fucking ticket to follow them? Why do you think he came here with her? Damn it! Uh-oh! He wouldn't do that. Hmm. Oh. It's the second time she's got asked that, and she vehemently denies it. Oh. Gotta be with the glamorous people. Ooh. I was gonna say, like, oh, you keep... Your body's feeling hot, feeling nervous, or she's just having a sunstroke. She's just having a heat stroke. Whichever one. Call it a day. It's not the final time. You can't go around in, well, unless the zoo is small, but you can't go around an entire zoo in one day. You know, it's like Disneyland. It's me! Oh my god, she was projecting this whole time, who would have thought? He's a 3-year-old. He'll fucking take anything from you. Oh. Bought a panda for him. Oh, a great deal on a 2-pack. Now y'all matching, huh? Is that the same one they went, or... Ah, so the new kid came in, and your parents don't give a shit about, okay, so that's what it was. Does that really matter? Look at Mika getting along with Nao-chan. What? Drama? Oh, the clicks! Alright. Yeah, and your heart on your sleeve is the FOMO. I swear, Mika is just a durologist at this point. Durologist? Duragonist. She's the skincare person. She's talking so seriously. Okay, I've been looking at it, but like she's wrapping her own hair, right? To make pigtails. Oh, she doesn't want to. She is so in love. She's a fucking tsundere. My god. Just reads her like that. Oh. It's too cringe. Oh, I'm feeling all teary, but thank God those 3D models came in and took me out of it. Oh, eat like hell. Oh. Oh, there's Ririka. Is your favorite. To the circus acts. Ah, how dare you change? Since the controversy, because I've made combat. Oh! Oh! Oh no! They're from the same... That looks like... It's like... From the voice... sorry, the child acting thing, right? No fear. Alright. Too many timestamps. Too many timestamps. That was a nice episode. Got a lot of, what is it? Got a lot of... I mean, we've got a lot of story, so it's a lot of stuff to have to dive into. But, yeah, there was that whole idea of, like, Ririka went drinking when she was in 6th grade. And so we found out that that is true. Well, I mean, not true in a sense that, like, maybe she did drink or whatever. But the fact that she went to a party where people were drinking, and it was Shima who brought him there. Brought her there, I mean. And we've got a little bit of Nao-chan, and we've got more I swear, Mika is the fucking deuterogonist. Deuterogonist. Am I even saying this word right? I'm gonna go search it up. Hold on. Deuterogonist, yeah. Deuterogonist. Cool. But yeah, it is deuterogonist. Right, the person second in importance to the protagonist in a drama. I swear to Christ, Mika is just... We see a lot more of Mika than I expected, I'll be honest with you. Not in the fact that we just see her around, it's the fact that we are still poking and prying into her mind. That's more or less what I mean. But Jesus Christ, this episode there was a lot of stuff. So yeah, I'm just gonna we're gonna go back to the center. I'm gonna go write my notes. Don't forget to tell them that your aunt is biologically male. It really hurt me if that caused them to panic. I'm not gonna pretend to know what I was about to say, so I'm not going to. When did Saijo Ririka debut, learn about her past, and the scandal? Embroiled in controversy, did she really drink when underage? Want to learn about Saijo Ririka's surprising past? I really like that they put it in past tense, like, did she really drink when underage? I mean, she's still technically underage, so... So I want to learn about her surprising, so she got her suspect of drinking alcohol, snapped back at haters, and got cancelled. When you get canceled. Alright. Alright, you know, like a bunch of other, like, Oshinoko stuff that I would say, but I'm not gonna say it right now. Talk about trashy. But this explains why Shima is so chill around girls. Outside of school, he's friends with these glamorous people. He's hanging out with a girl every boy would die for. Man, that's such a letdown. That sucks. Okay, actually, I want to see her schedule. Let's see, what is this? Exam results, revision, how about Thursday? I don't know, what is today? Final preps, I mean, that's done, right? Summer, she's got summer cram schools. And I guess those are, like, what chapters that she'll be doing for her summer homework and all that. No, closing ceremonies right here. Right, so then, is that next week, like, right here? Okay. Okay. The internet continues to ruin the fuck out of everybody in terms of the way that they see another human being, right? Because, like, if they're seeing that person only on the screen, then they're not technically human to them, right? They're just somebody on the virtual space, and if they're a person on the virtual space, it's so easy to make comments, especially bad comments about them. You know, just air it out, and especially when you have that anonymity on the internet, right? You can say whatever the fuck you want, and people can't just fucking find your house or whatever, right? And give you a piece of their mind IRL. And so the idea of of a kid suspected for drinking underage, like in 6th grade or something, and apparently she gets what is it? She gets canceled, or she snapped back at the haters for it. Like, people were hating on her as a kid for drinking alcohol. Hold on. Okay. I just want to go back to this. So you think it's okay now that 4 years have passed since the controversy that I've made a combat as a motto? Well, it's not okay. So these are adults, right? Just drinking beer. My life will always be under a microscope. Everything I do will be used against me, all because I went with you that night. All because I went with you that night. So don't think you have any right to have a fun little high school life of your own. Okay, yeah, so everything I do will be used against me. And okay, I'm still over here like, I don't understand. It's like, right, again, the whole thing of, like, people are behind a virtual screen, right? Behind your computer, like me, I'm behind your computer. Hopefully I'm not right behind your computer, but, you know, I'm inside your computer screen or your phone or whatever that you're watching on right now. And it's just so easy to not see me as a human being. A bean, yeah. It can be hard sometimes to realize that, you know, to not realize, to realize. I don't know where my sentence was going, but, you know, sometimes it can be a little hard to remember that the person behind the screen on TV is a human as well. It's kind of like the idea of, like, sometimes you forget that your parents are also human, right? Because you're so used to thinking of your parents as this, like, higher figure above you, right? They literally gave you life and all that. Anyways, where was I going? Oh, about child drinking, and somehow that's a fucking scandal, right? And it's like, it's a scandal towards the kid, right? And, like, that's being used against you. It makes no fucking sense. And, like, I continue to get very sad every time I see child actors just literally get abused by the entertainment industry, and, like, they're always the one who gets, like, the brunt, you know. It reminds me of, like, an olden tale, I suppose, you know, of the time Britney Spears essentially had a breakdown, and she, you know, shaved off her head, and then people were talking about it all over the news about, like, did you see her? She shaved her head. She's fucking crazy. Women don't do that. They don't just shave off their right? And it's just, yeah, you know, it's just like it. I don't know. I don't even know what to say to that. All I just wanted to say is that it's never not. it's most of the time, right? It's not the kid's fault if they were engaged in, like, underage drinking or whatever. Because, like, one, right? How do they get access to the alcohol? Because they can't just go to unless they're in Vietnam, then understandable. But, yeah, or in other countries that does not check their ID or does not give a single shit if they're a kid. Because, like, in Vietnam, if a kid wants, they can just go out and buy some fucking cigarettes and they can just smoke at the age of 6 or whatever, right? They can do that. But I would assume in Japan, they've got and the whole ID stuff, and, like, you know, I mean, with the whole scandal of her drinking when she was in 6th grade, I would assume she as a kid should not have access to said alcohol. Right, and I feel like instead of people thinking about how, like, oh, it's a kid who's underage drinking, she must be a really bad person, maybe try to think on, like, on a broader spectrum and be like, who got them into the whole drinking thing, right? Because, like, when I was 4 or 3, back in when I was still living in Vietnam, well, I mean, I'm 3 and or 4. I don't know what age it was. I'm 3 and 4? I just said and or. Okay. That was like the first time I've tasted alcohol, when I was 3 or 4. And the reason why I had a taste of alcohol for the first time during that time was because my dad, who was inebriated at the time, right, jokingly with his friends, he decided to give me a can of beer. And so I had taken it, I took a sip, I hated beer, you know, I found out that I don't like beer, right? I found out at an early age that beer tastes like shit. And which is why I don't drink. But also, I can't drink in general. But, you know, with me saying that, right? Kids typically don't have access to alcohol, right? The only way that they have access to alcohol is if some adult provides them that access, whether it's because you've got, like, a whole shelf of alcohol that you don't lock and, like, you leave your kid alone or something, and that kids, they see that you drink and they want to imitate you, so then they take it and they drink it as well. That reminds me, okay, I'm not gonna look, I've already incriminated myself saying that I drank beer. Alright, first of all, I didn't drink a whole can of beer. I drank like one sip, alright? And then I found out it tastes like shit. I didn't want it. And then my dad and his friends laughed at me because, well, I mean, I gave them an ugh sort of face, right? You know, beer is gross. But yeah, most kids don't have access to alcohol unless somebody opens it up for them. Again, whether it's a family member or it's or in this case, in the entertainment industry, it's a bunch of adults who decided to bring kids into a karaoke room and drink alcohol around them. I mean, we'll just have to learn a little bit more about that. But I'm supposed to be writing notes, and I'm just over here ranting about this instead. I've been told it doesn't fit my image. Saw something on Pinsta. The color isn't too girly. Okay, so like when it comes to this, right? We've got we've got Mitsumi and we've got Kurume over here, or Makoto, whichever one. Where the both of them are on the same level of like fashion talk. I don't know what the fuck that means, except Mitsumi actually wants to get in while Kurume is just over here like, I'm just gonna continue snacking. She was snacking on some Pocky, and then afterwards she started snacking on rice crackers. She's over here like, I'm just here to eat. Very fun. Beige doesn't really fit me. So that means you're a blue base. Okay, you know, I have heard about the whole idea of like blue base, or not the blue base, but like cool skin tone and the warm skin tone, which I'm not exactly sure what I am. Just cause but I feel like I'm a little bit more on the warm skin tone. I believe so anyways, but then again, I never really cared much about fashion, and I often wear black anyways. So like, I typically don't give a shit. I wasn't having a good time with friends in middle school. Well, are they actually your friend then? That's the question. It's like, if you're hanging out with people that you call friends, but they're not making you feel good, are they really your friends? Just saying. I don't really enjoy the idea of toxic friends or whatever. It's just like, well, if they're toxic, and especially they're toxic towards you and other people around you, then they're not technically your friend. I mean, I guess you can kind of put Mika in that area, but look, Mika's got a lot of other stuff to figure out right now. Yeah. So honestly, I wasn't having a good time with friends in middle school. I kept getting dragged into relationship drama. By the time I realized I wasn't vibing with them, the groups were already formed. I was trying so hard to fit in that I forgot what I disliked about the situation. And I realized I should have never put up with it. So I decided to start over and wear my heart on my sleeves. Okay. So in high school, I was so set on not letting anyone mess with me that I came off as unapproachable. Like, I seemed pretty nasty at first. But once school started, I realized I was trying too hard. I've always wanted friends I could speak with. I was like, oh, this is fine, right? Because Mitsumi showed her that it's okay to be a bit of a ditz, right? Be a little cringe, as Nao-chan says, right? A little cringe goes a long way. So yeah, I've always wanted friends I could speak from the heart with. So I'm happy I met you guys. And then Mika looks away like, I know what you mean, kind of. You really didn't have to say... You really didn't have to say all that, you know? To say all that. The say is the italicized, right? You didn't have to say all that, you know? Kurume, the person who tends to keeps all the thoughts in her head, is the one who's saying, you didn't have to say all that, you know? Okay. You're making me blush. Okay. And then he offers her a rice cracker. Alright. And so right after she says that, we head right back into Mika's head. And you can see how she's like circulating it in her head and how she's thinking about it. Right? So Yuzuki's friendly and beautiful. Plus she's smart. And given she's lived abroad, her family must be a business or manufacturing background. She probably went to an international school or something. The kids in her school were likely smart enough to see how special she was. And I can see why some of them would want to pick on her just a little bit. But then this goes on to how Mika is just like, wait a minute. Is that a sign I'm one of them too? Well, right, and this whole episode is just Mika kind of projecting herself. Whether she was projecting herself onto Shima, but here she is kind of projecting herself onto Yuzuki's old friends. And it's nice that she's in her low introspection, she's kind of coming to a realization that like, oh, is that a sign I'm one of them? Because I'm able to understand what these people were probably thinking about, even though Yuzuki gave such vague fucking descriptions that Mika was just like, yeah, I'm able to fucking write out the rest of the fucking story because I know exactly how these people are because I am just like them. Fun. So summer cram. It's not like I have anything better to do at home. Its family situation is kind of complicated. Okay, and then that's why Mukai, he's over here is just like, oh, fuck, this is annoying. Girls are just coming on over to talk to him. I'm tired. I don't want to talk to girls. I don't know. Mukai's always like fucking dodging the situation whenever girls come up to talk to him about Shima. Maybe he just doesn't want to talk to girls. It's just like, stay away from me. But that's just me having my gay goggles on. But I assume Mukai is a little bit more upset that girls are coming on over to talk to him. Huh. So this is just her. Gotta love these fucking short ass texts. Whatever she wrote over here is just like, Roger, I assume she's saying meet up. And she's like, let Chris know too. And he's just like, ah, got you. And then she sent him a voicemail or a voice message that's like 1 minute and 24 seconds long. But so she sends like today, right? And so he says Shibuya, the usual place, and he immediately goes right off. Okay. Alright, so that was episode 8 of Skip and Loafer. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below. You know that I always like talking to you guys. For me, I thought that this was a pretty good episode. I like any episode that gives me more of Mika, our derogonist. Or, I keep saying derogonist, it's deuterogonist. There's a T in there somewhere, if I remember correctly. But, yeah, we've got more of Mika, and this time Mika got to meet Nao-chan. And so because of that, we've also got more screen time with Nao-chan as well. So I really enjoyed that. And, of course, I'm gonna be talking about Mika and also Nao-chan as well before I go and talk about Jesus Christ Ririka. I want to talk about a bit of a lighter side when we really compare it to Ririka. Anyways, here in this episode with Nao-chan, we're really going full out on the fact that she is a trans woman, right? We've kind of had a bit of a we've had a bit of a hint back in like episode 2 or something, somewhere around there, where, you know, the girls were making comment about her Adam's apple and such, and so I was just like, okay, you know, that's interesting. I like the idea of that. And here in this episode, we see Nao-chan, who's in disguise right now, and well, Mika's just like, well, who the fuck are you, right? Who is this person? And Mika, now has a thought it's like, wait, what has Mitsu told her friends about me? I'm just like, I wonder what Nao-chan thinks that Mitsumi is saying, right, about her in general. And so when she introduces herself as Mitsumi's uncle, right? You can check my ID because her ID, I would assume, is still showing her her biological sex as male, right? So I was just like, okay, so she introduces herself as like her actual sex, and not the way that she represents herself or she feels is her true self. All right, and I was just like, okay, you know, like that's sort of a subject that I'm not exactly in tune, right, in terms of like the culture and how like trans people feel about this idea where, you know, they feel in their heart, in their mind, that they are a woman, but they are biologically a man. So not really exactly sure on the thinking of this, just because again, I'm not I've never have I was gonna say I've never met a trans person before, but I have, but I haven't really met people who are like on this stage, right? And also the idea of Japan is a very conservative country, right? They don't even have gay marriage, right? Japan's just kind of like, oh, we're fine with gay people and all that, and they're dating, that's totally fine, but you can't get married. Fuck you. So, if they have that idea, right, and again, they're a conservative country run by a bunch of old people. I don't know why I'm hating on old people. Anyways, these fucking old people ruling over the youngins who just wants to change, and the old people, they don't want to change. That's why they're conservatives. But, yeah, if Japan is that sort of country, and if they don't even have gay rights, gay marriage, I mean gay rights in general, and also, you know, Japan is very highly patriarchal. So I would assume that one of the reasons why Nao-chan does this whole thing is because, you know, she's not legally recognized by the government that she's a female, right? That's why it's on her ID, and it shows that she is biologically male. And so that's why she still introduces herself to people, I would assume, to strangers or whatever, as herself. As her biological sex, right? She's biologically male. Alright. I was I was a little confused at first, because it goes back to this part where she tells Mitsumi, right? Don't forget to tell them that your aunt is biologically male. It really hurt me if that caused them to panic, which I assume, because, like, I guess, like, some girls be like, oh, you're, I see you, you're a woman and all that, and then suddenly I find out that, you're actually a man this whole time. I feel like I've been lied to. I guess that's, I think I'm starting to understand why Nao-chan is saying it like this in this way, because, like, I was just kind of like, I don't know, because again, with all the other trans people that I know, they're very out and about with the way that they are, and they don't particularly want to refer to themselves as their biological sex, because, I mean, the whole point of, you're a trans person is because you want to you want to be the other sex that you are, that you feel it's the true you and all that, right? So I was a little confused at that, but I've solved my own issue by just remembering that she's probably not legally recognized by the government. So makes sense. Makes sense. Anyways, with that part over, here we are back at the beginning with Mika. Where Shima tells the Mitsumi and Mika that, hey, Ririka's a friend of mine, but she's also a model. Can you not tell other people that she was here, right? Don't want to cause too big of a ruckus. And Mitsumi just willfully agrees to it because she knows about Shima's past, right? So she's just kind of like, okay, understandable. And also she didn't really know who Ririka was in the beginning, so she's just like, okay. But Mika is over here thinking, like, what do you mean she's just a friend, and yet you guys grew up together, right? Well, that can't be. You can't just be, right? Like, and she's over here like, hell, you grew up together and she's just a friend? The fuck, dog? How dare you just be friend with this girl that you've known since childhood, and she's also a fucking model. And I love that the first thing she does, right, is going on her phone, searching up Ririka, and then seeing about her past, and then hearing about, like, oh, she got her start in child acting, and that she was suspected of drinking alcohol in the 6th grade, and she snapped back at haters and got canceled. Alright, I already went through this whole thing, I don't want to talk about it again, but ew, talk about trashy, Mika. But it kind of goes and makes her think, like, oh, so this is why Shima is so chill around girls, because he's friends with glamorous people, he's hanging out with a girl every boy would die for, but they're just friends. Ooh, so he's just another clout chaser. This is Mika yet again projecting herself onto people. Fantastic, Mika, fantastic. But very fun. And we head on over to the zoo date where both Mika and Nao-chan are just watching over them because they're just so worried about these two having a great time, and they're so worried. And I really like Nao-chan and Mika's relationship, just like immediately, just the way that the both of them essentially, I was gonna say got together in terms of like hanging out, right? Not like together, and how they're very similar to one another, right? And it's something that we saw a little bit later on as the whole date thing continues, but also here in this part where Nao-chan is talking to Mika, and Nao-chan immediately recognizes that that Mika's in love with Shima, just like all the other girls who are talking to Mika. It's like, oh, so you like him as well? Is this a love triangle? And Mika's just trying to deny it, trying to be like, no, I don't like him. I as she says, it's just my goal to get myself a hot stuff boyfriend while in high school. Only in high school. I'm gonna break up with him in college. But yeah, this is just Mika covering herself up again. She doesn't want to... You know, I just realized I've forgotten to highlight and mark some of these stuff. No wonder I'm a little confused. Alright, 1 second. Alright, what was I talking about again? Oh yeah, Nao-chan figuring out that Mika's in love with Shima, just like everybody else has. Anyways, continuing with Mika and Nao-chan's nice little meshing relationship where, you know, they both do like say the same thing, right? Mika's very kept up with the latest trends and stuff. Now it's literally a fucking stylist. So it's very nice. And then here in this part where, you know, the both of them are like eating and they're just like, oh shit, I forgot I needed to take a picture of this, and now it's just like, oh yeah, I need to put this on Pinsta. I love that Mika's just like, Pinsta, oh my god, she does it as well, the fuck. Very, very fun. But in the next scene relating to Mika, it all goes back to her. We've got the pajama party where we got a nice little talk from Yuzuki where she goes and says that she's glad that she went to a different school and found good friends, right? People that she can talk with, I was gonna say with her full heart. Well, she's wearing her heart on her sleeve now, but you know, good friends that she doesn't have to, not say keep secrets from, but for her to, yeah, good friends, not toxic friends. To summarize it like that. And all before this, actually, Mika comes to the realization that Shima's not a clout chaser at all. It was her this whole time. Again, projection. So we've got that realization from her, and then going back to the pajama party where Yuzuki talks about her friends and all that, and I kind of already make note about how, you know, she just said very basic details, and then Mika's over here making up like an entire fucking story afterwards. And in the end, she just kind of comes to the realization that, oh, is this a sign that I'm one of them? Right? She's starting to, again, her little introspection and her kind of coming to the realization that, is this me? Am I the toxic friend this whole time? But that leads us on over to Mika and Nao-chan having a nice little conversation in the elevator, and Nao-chan she just knows Mika's character immediately, just sees her, and she just like, yeah, I know exactly who you are. You're just like me. So I like that, not just in terms of similarities, right? Of the things that they like, that again that are similar to each other. It's that their paths are perhaps could be a little similar to each other too, right? Nao-chan's just thinking about like, hey, you know, she's wearing a blouse that literally says that she's on top of the fashion trend, right? She got into the school, which means that she's been working hard because it's a fucking elite prep school and all that. So. You know, I know that she's good, she's got all these skills, but she lacks confidence, she's afraid to get hurt. Alright? And now she's like, I know exactly who that is, it's me, again! So, it's very fun. I just really enjoy just seeing this, again, just seeing this nice little relationship that these two have. And just giving you the idea that Mika can change, right? You can see that this is Nao-chan is a future version of Mika, right? After she has gone through all this tribulation that she's had back in high school and, you know, continuing to grow up and all that. So it's very nice. Again, just a nice little imagery to see that, yes, right? Mika can change. She can grow up, and that's a good thing. And I love this speech, and I love this talk towards the end with And I love this talk towards the end with her and Nao-chan, where she says, with her and Nao-chan, where Nao-chan says, if there's even a tiny part of you that wants to go, call Mitsu right now and tell her that you've got the date for your family dinner wrong. And then Mika's just like, no, it's too late, and it's too cringe. And I love Nao-chan just saying, well, what's wrong with that? Right? Having a little bit of a cringe side will make you more endearing. And I like that. I like that quote. That's why I wrote it down. Everybody has a cringe side. And not to say that you should fully embrace it, because sometimes you really shouldn't fully embrace the cringe, but you should come to the acceptance that you have a cringe side, and that in itself makes you more human, right? Because humans, we want to see, we want others to see us as the perfect being, right? That we have no flaws or whatever, and that being vulnerable is weak, right? Being weak is vulnerable. You can switch those around. So that's like the biggest thing, and we don't want to get hurt, right? We don't want others to hurt us. We don't want to give these people bullets for them to load it up in their gun and shoot us, right? We don't want them to do that. And so because of that, right, we all put on a mask to showcase that this is, this is the cool version of us, right? But again, because of that, I love that Nao-chan just goes and says, yeah, having a little bit of cringe side will make you more endearing. And this is literally coming from an adult's perspective, right? Someone who has gone through this whole tribulation, this whole ordeal, and they've grown up from it. And I love it. I enjoy it. I enjoyed it. I think I said it right around here is when I felt a little teary. I felt a little bit of pressure coming in. I felt tears weren't welling up, but I certainly felt it. So I enjoy it. I can't not say anything else other than I enjoy it at this point. But that brings us the end of this part, and let's fucking talk about Shima and Ririka. So the first thing with Shima is during the whole zoo thing, where Mitsumi ends up asking Shima whether he has a sibling or not, and he ends up saying that he does have a brother. Right? He's He's first year in high school, so he's about 15. I think that's the age. He's about 15, somewhere around there, or is it 16? 15 or 16, somewhere around there. And his brother is 3 years old, right? That's like a 12 or 13 year difference. And also, the only thing I wrote about Shima's parents is I wrote Shima's parents are savages, LOL. It's the only thing I wrote. But at least I know that his mom is alive, so that's also fun, right? And this is just kind of adding up to what Shima, what Shima had said during his child acting day, where he said, well, I only did the whole child acting thing because I wanted to make my mom happy. Right? That's what my mom wanted me to do, and I decided to do it, and I worked hard because I wanted her to be happy. But then that all came crashing down, and I do wonder if that's because of the whole 6th grade incident. Right? Because he kind of just said, like, I quit, and it's just like, okay, did he just decided to... Well, let's say he quit. Well, he doesn't do acting anymore, right? So it's just kind of like, okay, so is that something... what is it? Was that something he just decided to do? And so perhaps this whole 6th grade incident caused it. And he did mention 2 episodes or 2 episodes ago maybe, or an episode ago, where he had said that his parents he doesn't really eat dinner with his parents as much anymore. And then here in this part, where he thought about, like, oh, should I really buy something for my brother, right? And he's like, I don't even know what he wants. And Mitsumi's just like, he's 3 years old. He's gonna fucking like anything you give him. Which is understandable. But we see as Shima decided to buy the penguin for his brother, he sees that what is it? He sees this fox, and it made him realize that his brother has the same fox as well. God, look at all those fucking toys that he has. He has like a full train set. He's got blocks for the train set. I don't know what he was doing with it, but like in the back of in the shelf, right? You see more toys just stocked up in there. Like this boy got a lot of fucking toys. And so Shima sees this, and he remembers. And he thinks about this particular scene, and also you got to see here in this scene where he's walking, right, and he's looking down, or his hat is downward. You see this kid coming to go to his parents, and then it cuts on over to this scene where his parents are hanging out with his little brother without him. What a fucking asshole! This is the part where I just wrote, his parents are fucking savages. Like, are you fucking kidding me, bro? Y'all took him to the fucking zoo without even asking Shima if he wants to go? Like, at the very least, if he started working or something, he's in high school, right? I mean, he probably wouldn't want to hang out with them anyways, but like, come on now. Utter savagery. But it kind of puts onto that idea of like his mom wanted him to do this whole child acting thing, and then it all came crashing down. Also, that kind of plays onto what Shima was talking about when he says that he can't handle all the pressure, right, on his shoulder, because it had all come crashing down on him. And then this broke this relationship with his mom and his dad too, I guess, right? And I just can't get over the fact that like his family, he's not in a good relationship with his family, and like his parents are just putting all their they're just like, this is a bad egg, Shima, bad egg. We've decided to whatever, he can do whatever he wants now. I don't give a shit. We're gonna put all of our eggs in the basket. All right, this analogy that I've made is kind of not good, but they've decided that they're gonna put all their eggs in the basket on Kay, his little brother. God, it just makes me think, I'm like, is she just gonna fucking push Kay to do child acting as well? Make money for me, child. Do it. I don't know. But goddamn, dude, the more we're hearing about Shima's relationship with his parents, it's just horrible. Albeit, when it comes to this whole thing, right? I can't relate, right? I'm the youngest child, so I can't relate. Anyways, Shima was going to not give the gift to his brother because he's like, well, my brother's already been here. And it's just kind of like, okay, who gives a shit, right? It's not like he got everything from the zoo. So I like that Mitsumi just encouraged him to do it. It's just like, just fucking do it. Isn't it obvious? Come on now, he'll fucking love it from you. Unless... I was thinking about the idea of like, oh yeah, of course Kay would love to have a gift from his big brother, right? Yeah, usually kids would often respect their big brother or whatever, right? Look up to them as they would with their parents. And so I was like, yeah, that's logical. And then something in my head is just like, but what if his parents been talking shit about him to Kay? And then Kay's just like, no, big brother, I don't want your shit. God, I mean, they're already putting all their attention onto the little brother instead of, you know, their bigger son. Wouldn't fucking surprise me if they are also fucking talking shit about him to Kay. And so in the next part, when we saw Shima, other than the fact that he's got like matching keychains with Mitsumi now, but you know, that's a setup for later. But we've got Shima coming to cram school with Mukai, and Mukai knows that his family situation is kind of complicated. It's not kind of, it is complicated. And so Shima's just, I would assume the only reason why Shima decides to go to cram school is because he doesn't want to be in the house with his family, right? Understandable. He'd rather put his time onto other things. instead of having to stay in the house, which very relatable. All right, very relatable. That was one of the biggest reasons why I liked why I like working before I started working from home. But that was one of the biggest reasons why I liked working was because it gave me a reason to be out of the house, because I don't want to be in the house, right, with my family. It's like not my thing. So definitely understand why Shima decided to do this, even if it might not interest him. But here we are outside where he was about to let Mukai, he was about to go eat with Mukai, but then he immediately gets a text from Ririka, right? And he's just like, oh shit, better go, right? Bye, Mukai. See you later, buddy. And he ends up meeting with Ririka, who's over here alone, and he says, hey, we agreed to not meet up alone, right? And then she's the one who breaks the rule, and they end up meeting, together and all that, right? So let's see, we should just go home. Hold on. My summer break's packed with shoots. I got one in 5 a.m., right? Oh, you should go home. I'm an early riser myself. And she says, because you've been going to school like a good boy. Because I guess he was a bad boy in elementary. Okay. She starts to poke and pry, right, about Mitsumi, right? The bob-haired girl I saw in the classroom is your favorite, isn't she? And she says, which I quoted, you've always taken a liking to the circus act. It's perhaps not particularly the circus. Well, I mean, I guess the whole thing with the circus is that it's entertaining, right? And so it's like, oh, you're entertained by this. I was gonna say circus pushes the norm. I mean, they kind of do. I feel like circus sometimes try to push the norm, especially when it comes to animal abuse. No, sorry, but yeah, I think I would kind of feel that's what the circus is. Where they pushes the norm, like human feet and everything. Not like their feet, but like FEAT, their feet. So I kind of see what she means by you've always taken a liking by to the circus act, but she's saying it a little bit more in a demeaning manner, right? Because like sometimes when you say like, oh, this is a circus, it's typically in a more negative connotation, right? You don't really say, oh, this is like a well. I mean, I guess it could be in a bit of a positive connotation, depending on how you say it, but I feel like people often say this is like a circus in terms of a more, again, negative connotations. Also, the fact that Shima's just over here like, favorite? She's a friend of mine. She's my friend. What do you mean about, I've got a fucking favorite? So she says, yeah, and so she says, I knew it. You've always taken a liking to the circus act. And then he's over here like, don't talk about my friend like that. All right, we've got a bit of a scowl. And then she immediately goes and confronts him, right? You're the one acting weird. You think it's okay now that 4 years have passed since the controversy that I've made a comeback as a model? Well, it's not okay. My life will always be under a microscope. Wait, I was reading this out loud and I was thinking in my brain, like, wait, I think I've already read this before I started going into the whole discussion. Anyways, yeah, my life will always be in a microscope, because I went with you that night, so don't think you have any right to have a fun little high school life of your own. And then what, he just apologizes? Is that what it was? Right? Yeah, he looks down and he's just like, oh, I'm sorry. And then she just turns around and she's like, I'm going home, walk me, hold my hands. Right? He is at her beck and call. She sent him one text and immediately he drops the plan that he had with Mukai. He just got on over to the fucking family restaurant. Right? He goes and he talks to her, and then she goes and she's just like, hey, you can't have fun, alright, you little bitch. And she just guilt trips him over something that he definitely feels guilty over. And so because of that, he continues to go at her beck and call, right? And he apologizes for this whole situation because he feels bad. He's a sad boy. Understandable. Here at this part, we can kind of see two people who are who came from the same trauma, but they are separating, right? They're branching out into two separate acts, with the first one being Shima, who decided to close himself out by not continuing with his child acting, right? He's decided not to do that. He broken up his relationship with his parents. Parents have been broken up with. Well, not to say that he's the one who did it, but, you know, he's closed out. He became this I don't care king, right? He gets a little aloof, and he kind of just continues to pass time listlessly, because he doesn't really have any particular goal or anything, right? But also because he closed himself out, he has also closed himself out to the internet, which is good, honestly, for Shima. Fucking good. He still gets it right, and he also goes to a school where not a lot of people know that he came from. He has a child acting background, right? He's like, people will figure out eventually, but most people don't know about it now. So he's in a situation where people don't really know him all that much. And again, he's probably not eagle surfing himself on the internet because he's given up that life. Meanwhile, we have Ririka, who is continuing on this act, who's continuing on becoming a model despite the controversy. And because of that, she is living on the internet. She's living on the internet. And as she said to Shima, my life will always be under a microscope, because she's going to be constantly on the internet. She's a model. She's a big time model now, I think. And her modeling career is doing great for her right now, despite the controversy that she's had before. But again, she's so for these two, right, with Shima and with Ririka, Shima has fully ran away from his past, from his controversy, albeit he's continually getting roped back in by Ririka. But he's trying to run away from it. He's trying to say that I don't care about it, or somewhere around there, right? He's wearing I don't care crown. But because he's kind of getting into the spot where nobody really knows him as much, right? He ends up meeting someone like Mitsumi, who doesn't really care about status, doesn't really know about your status. And even when she finds out about it, right, she might be a little impressed by it and all that, but she's still going to treat you the same way. And that, and you know, when it comes to Mitsumi, it kind of shows in the same way that she sees Nao-chan, right? She just immediately goes and says, like, hey, Nao-chan's my aunt, right? My aunt this, my aunt that, my aunt this. And it kind of goes to what Nao-chan's thinking about, like, oh, what has she been telling her friends about me, right? And it's just like, well, she's just straight up saying, my aunt this, my aunt that, my aunt this, right? And so she doesn't really think about the whole fact that Nao-chan is a trans woman, right? She's just in her head. She's just like, yeah, you know, this is my aunt, and that's it, right? She doesn't really see what the outside perspective is looking at. She's only seeing it as herself, and she's just like, yeah, you're a person that I see in front of me, and so that's how she is with Shima, right? You're this person who's right in front of me. Yeah, you've got a fucking child acting day, and you're a pretty good child actor, but like, you know, you're still the person that I've met the first time at that train station, right? So I don't know where did I go with this. So with Shima, right, having run away from his past, and again, he's very away from the internet, right? And even though his past sometimes pull on him a little bit, he still is able to change a little, as we see with his middle school friends, right? As we see with Ririka, who says, you're the one who's weird. Or we see with Chris, who is like, whoa, this guy who's been aloof this whole time in middle school suddenly cares about school? What the fuck's going on? Must be a girl or something. So, you know, his middle school friends are noticing that he's changing, right? And Shima, in his heart, wants to change. And it goes back to what Mika says, where perhaps the reason he could be in love with Mitsumi, maybe he's not realized it yet, but perhaps one of the reasons why or one of the reasons why someone would fall in love is because the other person has something that they don't, right? And Mitsumi has something that Shima doesn't. So Shima is trying to chase after it, as we saw in the first episode. God, this is so nice. So yeah, we've got Shima, who's fully attempting to run away from his past. He's not really confronting it, but he's trying to run away from his past, and he's trying to change at the same time. And here we have Ririka, who is facing her past head on. Right, you know, we've heard that she called off some haters and got canceled. Right, she's she's fully trying to face her little controversy and such, and now she's continuing as a model instead of a child actor, and she's getting good gigs and all that. Right, she's doing great for herself. She's this big time model right now. But because of that, again, she's still connected to the internet. She's still connected to the entertainment industry. And because of that, her past will always continue to come back to her. And as she says, her life is under a microscope. And she's always, anything that she says will always come back to her or be used as a weapon, because why the fuck not, right? Humans love dramas, and they will use just about anything to make the other person feel bad. So, yeah. So Ririka isn't changing. She's not changing. Or at least, she's changed in a bit. Or at least, you know, I would assume she's changed in a more negative way, right? And so, the fact that she sees Shima is changing in a much more positive light, right? Because she probably didn't say shit about him when he was acting aloof throughout middle school, right? She probably didn't say anything. The only reason why she started this whole thing, why she went to the school and why she confronted him here, is because she realizes the change, just like Chris. And she doesn't like that change, right? How dare you change? How dare you have a good high school life when you did this to me, right? She feels that he is at fault, and because he is at fault, he should be her slave for the rest of her, or for the rest of his life. And it's, it's the idea of guilt tripping someone. And it's like, how long can you guilt trip someone until they're finally tired of it? Or they've just broken, right? They've broken to the point where they just don't care anymore. They don't want to be hurt anymore. They'll just do whatever you tell them to do because they're tired of you guilt tripping them, right? It's either one of two things. And yeah, you know, it's an understandable anger that Ririka has for him, but at the same time, right, you should learn that you need to move on and change, right? The past can't be changed anymore. You can't stop thinking, you can't be thinking about the past all the time. But here's Ririka thinking about it all the time because it gets put in her face all the time. Mika searches up Ririka, and like one of the first things that she sees is, oh, the scandal that Ririka has when she was a 6th grader. You know, she drank alcohol. Oh my god. It's like going on the news and hearing that a child celebrity did hardcore drugs. Like, oh my god, they sniff cocaine. And it's just like, you see how bad this kid is? And again, I still have the same concept as, even if a kid is fucking sniffing cocaine or some shit. You know, it's just like, alright, how did this kid get cocaine? Who gave him it? Who gave them it? So, yeah, I'm just, I guess all in all, kids are molded and formed by society and by the people around them. And if they do a certain action, right? You know, sometimes there are people who are just born psychopaths, but that's very rare. But, you know, the internet loves to use that word, and also sociopaths, but they're typically rare, and they're not, like, running amok our fucking neighborhood or anything. But, you know, those are the exceptions, but kids, mostly, right? They are molded by society, and they are formed by it, and, you know, if kids get into smoking or something, it's probably because in the media, we're always showing fucking smoking and how cool it is. Right? And then eventually they get addicted. But the same thing kind of goes with alcohol, right? They see their family drink alcohol and they're like, wow, I want to do that too. So yeah, they just get molded and form, and it's just the whole thing of you should probably teach your kids, to which I don't know where I was gonna end that. I was thinking about Shima's parents. I was just like, they probably didn't teach him shit. They were just like, come on now, my little money maker. If they wanted money so much, right? Why did they go into the child acting day? Just put him on YouTube. Actually, now with bigger laws, right? When it comes to family vlogs and all that, right? I think there's been a law now, I think in America. I'm not sure if it applies to other people as well, but it is it's like a law for like YouTube in general, but like it should be, I forgot what the law is. Sorry, I'm giving you really perhaps misinformation news. Or like the law really helps with like kids who were essentially exploited by their parents on the YouTube space. Right? And, if you think that the entertainment industry is like fucking bad and all that, like just think about how it is for a kid whose parents run a YouTube channel, right? Whose parents run a family vlogging channel. And like you can't consent to being on the camera. And even if you say that I don't want to be in the camera, like what is your parent going to do? Respect you? Fuck that shit, dude. They're making money off of you, and that's why they continue to record you and your life and all the time, right? And anyways, I don't want to get into a really big fucking talk about family vlogging and filming your fucking child online and all that. To which, by the way, I was watching another YouTuber who put out their thoughts about like posting pictures of your kids on the internet and all that, and where they're just like, well, yeah, I understand if it's like you're famous or you're a celebrity or something, but if you're just some random nobody, like who gives a shit? Like who's going to care about your ugly ass child on the internet? And I was thinking about that, and I was just like, well, the whole idea is that if you want to share pictures of your kids and all that, maybe you should do it on a private account, right? With only families and friends and not a public account, because as much as it is, the internet is a bad place for kids, and it will always be a bad place for kids. It's just that parents are currently not good at adapting to the internet, right? They're just really literally letting their kids run amok on the internet. And I don't even get me started on all the fucking PDF files that's on the internet. So that kind of goes back to my point of like that not my point, but the point of this one YouTuber who's talking about like, oh, nobody gives a shit about your ugly ass baby or whatever, and it's just like, well, yeah, it's true. Nobody gives a shit about them, and that's why it's easy to take their picture and sell it on the fucking black market, on the deep web and everything, right? You're literally giving them free resources for them to use and sell. Okay. Okay. All right, I want to stop ranting, but I do have this one last thing, and also they held hands. Oh my god, I can't believe it. But it was nice that we saw, just everybody hanging out, having fun, and all that. Gotta love Kurume, who's just sitting there, legs crossed, arms crossed, no reaction at all. Very fun. But we see here where we see this is his watch, right, and this is his bag, and God, we just I love this image of just him laying in bed, right, looking out into the fucking wall, because of course he's not even looking outside, he's just looking at the curtain on the wall. Man can't sleep, right? He tossed his shirt on the ground. He the way that his backpack looks, it really just looked like he just flung it, right? And then the bag just spilled, and like the books fell out, and like there's just books near the bedpost and everything, right? And it's just like this is I mean, if only his room was a little messier, but this is such a good depiction of just like, I don't care. You know, I just had a really bad night. My night was going fine for a little while, but I've just experienced a really bad night. And I just don't care. Alright, I don't even want to bother to pick up these books. I don't even want to bother picking up my fucking shirt. I just want to be in bed, and I want to fucking drool about it. And, yeah, it's just a nice scenario in a nice juxtaposition to the pajama party, and then here is this boy having his own lonely pajama party out here. That's a sad boy party, dude. But yeah, that is that's well, I was gonna say that's all I have. There was this part that I forgot to mention when we were talking about the idea of Mika being in love with Shima and all that, right? And then her just continually thinking, her having like to study Shima and all that. Like, I don't know if he's trying to be her friend or he's just being really nice and all that, right? We've been seeing her, she's trying to do the whole studying thing. And then again, when Nao-chan saying like, are you in love and all that, and then I've mentioned it already actually, where Mika is saying like, oh, the whole you might fall in love with them if they have something that you don't have, and perhaps that also applies to Mika on how she thinks about Shima, right? Perhaps Shima has something that she doesn't have, right? She's always trying to chase. She's a clout chaser. She's always trying to hang out with glamorous people, wanting to be a glamorous person herself. And here's Shima, who is hanging out with a glamorous person, glamorous people, and is a glamorous person himself, right? And he has something that she wants. And perhaps perhaps consider that we know Shima a little bit more than Mika knows Shima, right? And so perhaps this is Mika also projecting her sense of what she should be onto Shima as well. So, we'll just have to see as we continue seeing more of Mika. Yay, Mika! How fun! But all right, I think that's it. Holy shit! How long has this been? Oh my god, it's 2 hours and 26 minutes. I had to close the window like 30 minutes ago because it was really loud outside. Anyways, it's really hot. I'm dying. Ugh, okay. Oh yeah, the outro. If I have anything else to say, I'll write in the description down below. And thank you guys for being here. You know, I appreciate that. If you're here, sticking out till the end and everything, I appreciate you. And yeah, I'll see you when I see you.